Will Mr. Nelson D. Civello, the class of 1967, please come to the center of the stage? Nelson D. Civello has long been known as a force in the financial industry and on Wall Street. He is the retired president of the Fixed Income Capital Markets Group for Dane Rauscher and past chair of the Bond Market Association. Following his retirement from Dane Rauscher in 2001, Civello returned to Canisius to educate the next generation of financial professionals. He launched the Golden Griffin Fund in 2003 and established the Financial Markets Lab from which the fund operates, creating an award-winning, student-run investment management program. Civello is an exemplary alumnus who served 2 terms on the college's Board of Trustees and currently serves as the college's Investment Advisory Committee. A generous philanthropist and a devoted volunteer, Civello now works to raise awareness and resources for stomach cancer patients through the DeGorius Foundation, Finding a Cure for Stomach Cancer. For his exceptional professional accomplishments and unflagging dedication to alma mater, Canisius College is proud to bestow upon Nelson D. Civello, from the class of 1967, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
It's not too easy to get around these gowns. Well, good morning. Everybody's so somber today. Let's kick it up a notch. I'd like to start by thanking President Hurley and the Board of Trustees for this wonderful honor. And thank you also to the faculty for making my 7 years on their team amongst the most satisfying of my career. I am profoundly moved by this recognition, and it certainly represents a capstone of my long 16-year relationship with this wonderful community, otherwise known as Canisius College. But today, can I see you out there? Today is about you, the ones in the middle. The class of 2017. You made it! Well, it's a privilege to address you, so let's get started. Now, the first thing that I want to say is, out of the tree of life, I pulled me a plum. Along came you, the class of 2017, and everything's starting to hum. Yet it's still a real good bet that the best is yet to come. These lyrics may not be familiar to some of you, but they are to some of you, others. They are from, these cool lyrics are from the great musical poet from my generation, Tony Bennett. And some of you may not have heard of Tony Bennett, except he's the old codger that can be seen on the internet doing streaming videos in a duet with Lady Gaga. Everybody remember Lady Gaga? I think everybody in this room knows her. Well, why do I think that the best is yet to come? And who am I to make that prediction? Well, I have 3 reasons, principal reasons, why I believe the best is yet to come. And those reasons are going to wait for a minute, because first I want to tell you why I feel qualified to make this prediction. You know, today you're not getting someone from Time's 100 most illustrious world citizens or influential people. But I am someone who sat where you sit 50 years ago. as did my 37 classmates who were gracious enough to join us today. Still with us, 37 today. I can say something that a lot of people can't say to you. I am one of you. I was there 50 years ago. And like some of you, I was a late bloomer. So I was neither summa nor magna, nor even cum laude. In fact, I had to transfer to Canisius from Niagara after my freshman year because I wasn't accepted as an incoming freshman. Can you even imagine where you'll be 50 years from now? Or who amongst you will be standing here? You haven't thought about that yet, but I want you to start thinking about it now. You know, honestly, I cannot even remember one word that my commencement speaker said 50 years ago. I had to go look him up in the program to see who it was, and I'm embarrassed to tell you that I didn't remember. But I only ask for your attention for a real and a fast 10 minutes to hear my message today. Indeed, this is the story of the tale of two generations. The class of 1967 sitting in front of you. We faced the world as Jesuit-trained soldiers who are now bringing that world to you. We are a bit tired now, and we need to hand the baton off to you. We will recede into the background and become your counselors, but you will become the doers. Now, if today is really about you, why am I so terribly optimistic about you? And I am. I'm optimistic for you, your parents, your grandparents, your step-parents, your siblings, and your friends. For all of us at Canisius, for our city, for our state, for our country, for our church, and for our world. That is my message today. Plain and simple, the best is yet to come. You came to this campus 4 years ago with a mission to set the world ablaze. Some of you have, some of you have not yet, but all of you will. I am excited for what you, the class of 17, represents. You are very special people, whether you realize it or not yet, and fresh reinforcements. Newly minted and trained, Jesuit-trained men and women with and for others. The world needs you. Does the world seem a bit messed up to you today? Indeed. It certainly seemed messed up to us 50 years ago, I can tell you. All you need to do is go to Washington, D.C., and go to the Vietnam War Memorial, and you will see the names of 58,307 of our fallen generation. That was quite a sacrifice. And at the same time, there were race riots occurring in the very streets around this campus in 1968. We all remember that only too well. We faced war, poverty, famine, racism, corruption, and so on. And yet, we went on and we pursued in the face of all of this evil. We even faced student loans, something that you face to this day. But we did our best. We fixed some things in part. Remember that the U.S. is still the world's leading economy, that our generation pushed hard for civil rights, the Voting Rights Act. Some of us even marched on Selma, Alabama in 1964 with the Reverend Martin Luther King. We made a big push for equality for women. You know, there were only 12 women in our graduating class. Cleaner air, cleaner water, and until 9/11, a relative peace. But new problems have come along to rival those untractable ones. Yet today you are more talented, more diverse, and have better tools than we did, and you will succeed and do even better than we did. Now let's go to my 3 reasons why. Reason number 1, technology. It is clearly true, and I'm looking at you guys now, that you are digital natives, and your digital experience is primarily mobile. I was nearly 40 years old by the time I bought my first Apple Mac. The day you were born, you had personal computers in the home, and some of them even have them in your nursery. You never lived a day of your life without the internet. You are connected and get information at warp speed compared to our generation. We're going to demonstrate that point towards the end. We certainly live in a high-tech world at every level, but doesn't social media grab your attention? We have FaceTime and Skype and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and YouTube and Pinterest, and the list goes on. Always in touch. We are texting, emailing, taking photos, and videos. Videos are now everywhere. Everybody can become a filmmaker today if you have a smartphone. 5 of the most valuable companies in the world are Apple, Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, and Google. So what does that tell us? The big money is betting on technology, and you guys are right in the center of that bullseye. In the healthcare field, we are seeing the digitization of medical records, which I think in the long run will go towards improving the longevity of human life. We've seen the discovery of the human genome, the very coding instructions for life. There is robotic surgery and computerized prosthetics. Recently, a friend of mine was in the hospital for a heart procedure. And while he was in the recovery room, his surgeon walks in and says, "Do you have your cell phone with you?" And my friend said, "Yeah, why?" He said, "Because I want to send you pictures of the inner workings of your heart and your arteries to your iPhone," which he did from one iPhone to another, and I've seen these pictures. Unbelievable. When I started my career in banking and investment banking, stocks, bonds, and money, which is currency and checks, were pieces of paper. Today, all financial wealth is digitized in bytes and bits, and money and capital flows around the globe by the billions of dollars in seconds with just a click of a mouse. Even as we're sitting here today, those bytes and bits called money are circling the globe. When I returned to Canisius to teach, I wanted to be sure that that technology from Wall Street, where I spent so many years, was available to our students. So we acquired the very first expensive Bloomberg computer on any campus in upstate New York. And how about the fact that today there are 12 such computers on campus? They are so pervasive in their research and analytical ability that we have 2 of them in the library for general use of all students and faculty, although admittedly most of them are in the financial markets lab where you would expect to find them. But this trend also means that you have a short attention span, so we better move on. Reason number 2, diversity of demography and thought. Diversity is now the defining trait in America, much more so than for the class of '67. You are a more pluralist generation, and you have a stronger conviction in diverse races and religions, and you believe more strongly that people can coexist in this society. You are the most ethnically diverse generation in American history. And listen to these numbers. Your generation will comprise 47% of all ethnic minorities in the U.S. In 1976, the American campus was broken down 52% male, 48% female, and only 18% minority. By the year 2008, that was 43% male, 57% female, and 37% minority. And this trend continues right along with the demographic patterns in American society. Still, about 50% are first-generation college students, and that has not changed in all these years. As Nelson Mandela, the great president of South Africa, said, and I quote, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." And so, you so-called iGens or Gen Zers, I know you hate labels. As you enter young adulthood, you will face, though, the same challenges that everyone in this space of life faces. You're transitioning from school to work, separating from your parents, forming your own identities, and developing relationships with others. However, like any generation, you have distinct traits that shape your aspirations and how you will attempt to achieve them. For example, you are very passionate, independent, and want impact. You're open-minded, you're balanced, you're very mature, maybe somewhat naive, and maybe somewhat prone to instant gratification, if you don't mind my saying. But these are things that we'll cut you some slack for at this age. Time will change that. But remember, your class is more representative of today's America, and this fact should help to bring a greater sense of unity, tolerance, and understanding as you go out and lead this society. And finally, reason number 3, the constancy yet modernization of Jesuit education. Cura personalis, magis, women and men with and for others, service to the less fortunate. Sound familiar? Cura personalis translates. It is not just a phrase from the Ignatian spiritual exercises, where leaders are not made, not just a slogan. These are not words I can tell you because I lived these values for 50 years. Just consider today the work that this very campus does in service learning. For example, the Burrito Project, the West Side Bazaar, the Harvest House for refugees in Buffalo, plus the international service commitments made by our students in less fortunate countries. For example, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and even orphanages in Poland. As William Barclay, the Scottish theologian, said, there are 2 great days in a person's life: the day that you were born and the day that you figure out why. For Canisius, for me, Canisius started to help me figure out the second day, the second important day. And perhaps the greatest principle that I took away from Canisius was the drive to seek out my authentic self. As an economics and philosophy major, I had a big dilemma. Do I go into social work or do I go into banking? Quite a contrast there. Call that a dichotomy. Although I chose to go into banking for various reasons, I continued with my efforts to push my organizations to social consciousness in the greater society. I did not know when I left here that I would become a leader in large organizations and in my industry. But when I analyze why it turned out that way, I can say with certainty that it was my liberal arts, humanities background, critical thinking skills, some humility, and my moral and ethical compass rather than my technical skills that carried me through. Do what is right first and what is profitable next. My knowledge of the human condition led to what today would be called people skills. Remember that it is not just your IQ that will get you through the real world of life. It also takes EQ, or emotional intelligence. And that is what guides you through the interrelationships with the myriad of people that you will encounter in terms of sympathy, empathy, insightfulness, and active listening skills. And it was this very search for my authentic self that was what drove me to perform service in the form of a second career in teaching and in my philanthropy. Today, you are joining a community of more than 45,000 living alums, a nurturing community, a networking community. The vast majority of these alums really care about alma mater. I can confidently say, having spent 16 years of my adult life in and around this campus, that you are not only a golden griffin, but all of you grads and alums are also golden swans. What is a swan? S-W-A-N. A swan is someone who is smart, ambitious, works hard, and is also nice. I can honestly say I have never met a Canisius graduate that is not a golden swan, and I can't say that about them. After having said all of those great things, I have to advise you that yet to whom much is given, much is expected. You are privileged and blessed today, and you have earned your way into the Canisius College family. Before I wrap up, though, I'd like to get back to that technology experiment. If you'll excuse me while I pull up my robe. I want to ask the graduates now the question in regard to technology. How many of you actually own a smartphone? Would you raise your hand? Do you own a smartphone? Kind of what I guess. Now, if you have a smartphone with you, I'm told about 85% of you will. Would you pull it out and hold it up now? I want you to hold up your smartphone. Show me your smartphone, because I don't believe that you have one. Come on, reach into those robes, get it out. All right, everybody know how to take a selfie? At this time, I would like you to turn the smartphone towards you, hit the selfie button. Please take a selfie for me. Let's do this quickly now, because there's a lot of people here that have to get to lunch. Next thing, I want you to upload this. Open up your Instagram account. Open up your Instagram account and upload this selfie to the following hashtag, one that was uniquely created for me and you. The hashtag is #NelsonGriffGrad. NelsonGriffGrad. Can everybody get it? I don't have a screen. I have no blackboard to write it on. #NelsonGriffGrad. Let me know who you are. Feel free to post the picture of the person next to you if somehow they forgot to bring their smartphone. You'll be able to see each other on this hashtag, and I'll be able to see each and every one of your faces, which means although I can't meet you all personally, I can meet you all virtually. Now, guys from 67, we could not have done that 50 years ago. And so, in conclusion, for those three reasons, amazing technology, a highly diverse student body, and a modernized Canisius education, the best is yet to come for the class of 2017. Go forth and make the world a better place. Congratulations and go Griffs!